Hey, it's Friday, and you know where all roads lead to on Friday? Right here, Shootin' It with Samuel G. We're back, and I'm glad you're here to be with us. Let's start this week with what has been the story for the last 2.5 weeks. 9 miles up the road in Eaton, we got controversy on baseball. You know what it's all about. The coach, his son Kirk, Jim Danley, the head coach, how they're treating players, how they're not treating players. You know, it's become such a mess now that who knows what to believe. A he said, she said. We got a school board that violated open meeting law records, so forth and so on. It has now gone national with the entire story, and it still isn't settled. You can bet they're meeting now. You can bet that there will be a settlement. But the biggest question I have is, next spring, when the baseball season starts, it's going to be a little bit different around here. It's going to be an elephant in the dugout. You know, that big elephant nobody wants to talk about? It's going to be one around here next spring. We're going to see how things unfold and whether it makes a difference on the success that the Eaton program has come to enjoy. It's going to be real interesting. We're about in the third or fourth week of high school football season. I've really yet to find a prep team around here that's worth watching so far. Up, down, nobody really knows who's going to be very good. I guess we'll have to wait a couple more weeks to see how that all unfolds. Let's head up to the hill at the University of Northern Colorado, where the football team goes on the road tomorrow at Southern Utah. Now think about it. UNC football 3-0. Boy, I tell you what, there's a lot of people who can't remember the last time this football team was 3-0. I know it's been more than 10 years. And can you imagine him coming back next week to host a Big Sky Conference game against Weber State? Not one of the big boys in the Big Sky. Being 4-0, I tell you what, Ernest Collins will probably sleep a lot better. So will Darren Dunn, knowing he doesn't have to answer any more questions about it. But the possibility of the Bears being 4-0, that's exciting. That's exciting news around here. Volleyball playing as we speak in their own Hampton Inn Classic tournament. And, you know, this is the time now where Lindsay Oates' team needs to pick up some victories. She said that they needed to be at a certain point at this time of the season with a tough preseason schedule, losing tough ones on the road last week to nationally ranked CSU and, of course, nationally ranked Kansas. She scheduled those games for a reason so this team can be very, very well seasoned by the time the Big Sky Conference starts. But it looks like the Bears are right where they need to be. Pick up a few, maybe 2, even 3 games this weekend in their tournament, and they're right back where they should be, looking to prime at the end of the season and hopefully make the NCAA regionals. Let's talk about the big showdown tomorrow. CSU down in Denver. That's become a big attraction around here. Of course, people here have their allegiances to both schools. I don't know where to pick. I have a daughter that's got a degree from both CSU and CU. I guess that's why I just watch the games and hope for a good outcome, hope for a good game. You know, it's the big brother CU trying to beat up on the little brother CSU, so to speak. But I'm not sure that adage works anymore. Let's just hope that tomorrow's game is one that's well representative in the state and keeps things rolling in college football around here, because there's really not been a whole lot to brag about or talk about for college football in our state. The biggest thing in the last few years, CSU Pueblo winning the Division II National Championship a year ago, and we know how much publicity that gets. Very little. Let's go to the national scene. The Broncos, big game last night. National TV, Thursday night football, looking horrible on offense until the fourth quarter. You know, do you kind of wonder, is this offensive line as bad as it seems, and maybe they're trying to hide something? Maybe Gary Kubiak's offense isn't quite situated yet, and maybe they just ought to let Peyton Manning do his Omaha, Bomaha, whatever he does at the line of scrimmage, and do what he does best. I think that's what the people want to see. Obviously, it's what they saw in the fourth quarter last night, and then, of course, they get the big turnover right after a touchdown and win the game. But 2-0, they're a 2-0 team that doesn't really play like they're 2-0 yet. Hopefully, things will get better. Of course, now that we're into the second week of the NFL season, we've got the fantasy football idiots, I'll call them, all wondering who's going to get how many yards each week, watching the TV with their laptop in one hand, their eyes on the TV. Just remember, folks, they call it fantasy football for a reason. Fantasy. Get a life, okay? And now I'm thinking about the baseball playoffs a little bit, and I've got my eyes on New York, where the Yankees and the Mets are playing a Subway Series this weekend. It probably means more to the Yankees than it does the Mets. And you know what? For years, I've called the Mets the Mutts. Nah, they're the Mets now. About 7 or 8 games in first place. The Mets have finally become the Mets. And finally, to our grab bag, we're going to pull just one out this week. Guy by the name of Little Lefty. I kind of like that. Little Lefty, kind of a cutesy name. Says he really enjoys Shootin' It with Samuel G. Looks forward to it every Friday. Even sets his calendar and his watch by it. Well, Little Lefty, don't get that serious about it, because we're not. But the fact you use the nickname Little Lefty, you're good in our books. We'll see you next week.